Yes, we're coming to the January transfer window, and we have certain issues. Okay, while we are currently near the top of the table, we've reached that critical period where I tend to evaluate a lot of things, because we want to put ourselves in that position where we can strengthen our squad. But in order to strengthen your squad, especially when you're playing the lower leagues, you've got a lot of things to think of, right? First up, can you afford the players? Are they gonna come? Secondly, you gotta be very selective. And if you remember the last live stream, I was basically, I had this dilemma, right? Should I sign that fullback on the left? Well, guess what? I decided not to, because there is something that we need to remember when I do this kind of thing. So a good way to start the show off is actually to revisit the tactic itself, understand how we've set it up, and what are we looking for. So here, as you can see, we currently, right, the league, we're top of the table, 49 points. If I look at the data hub, we're performing quite well. 2.15 goals a game, expected goals 1.54, right? And our top scorer, is obscene. Okay. If I look at him and I look at his player performances and I look at what he's doing, his XG per game is 0.70. In other words, okay, I'm giving him a penalty, almost a penalty every single game, which is phenomenal, right? But when we go into the data hub and I look at my players and I look at their, if we do a comparison of our squad, right? So we've got jumping reach is only 12. I mean, like Catania are the best at 12.5, which, okay, when we play this game, let's just put things in perspective. 12.5 means you're taking the entire squad, the whole team, the whole squad you see on that page, right? And they do the average, and they come to a 12.5 value. So you never take 12.5 as the number, you always add more, because you got to think that there are other players, other defenders, or maybe fullbacks, because they put fullbacks into that category as well. So you have to add one, right? So 12.50, actually the number we aim for is 13. At the moment, 90% of all the goals we concede are from headers. Then I look at my tactic. So far, we've been using this tactic I've called the Pantera Rosa. This is a work in progress tactic, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot of requests to upload the tactic. I'm not going to do that, okay? Because then I'm going to receive comments like, oh, it's not working with Dumb Aston, okay? So, look, I created this tactic specifically for this team based on the players that they had. Like, for example, if I put somebody else here, he's supposed to change to an inverted wingback. Base poacher's job is very simple, right? This tactic works on one principle. I want to get a 5-channel attack. I've alluded to that on my shorts that I just released yesterday. So essentially what I want is I want to create 5 channels vertically. When we move the ball into the final third, any one of these channels can move up and down, giving me the chance to create a kind of movement that I want, which makes it very hard to mark, and more importantly, creates an opportunity for blind runs. If you've seen some of the goals that we've scored, you've noticed that my Volante comes in unmarked. It's because I like to place the poacher actually here. Here, he actually sits between 2 defenders. If I put him on the left, he sits with 1 defender, 1 fullback. I don't want that. If I put it like this, what's going to happen is the shadow striker is going to be giving a problem to 1 defender. The poacher is going to give a problem to both defenders. So the central defenders now have a problem here in this area. If I split, it's not going to have the same effect. So we use the white target man because this role here is all about strength. This role, the shadow striker, is all about flair. This role is all about movement. I need this guy to move, right? So he's got to have damn good off the ball. And this role, all he's got to do, finish the chances that he gets. So strength here, flair here, off the ball here, finishing here. The reason why we created this tactic was because I don't have a second striker. I only have this guy. Okay, now this role, the box-to-box midfielder, hustle, off the ball is very important. Anchorman, okay, a lot of people have asked me this question. Why Anchorman? This is important because my team is a bunch of Muppets. This is my first 11. So it was designed basically for these players. So he doesn't have a lot of flair. He's got play short, simple passes, but he dictates tempo. Great. Keeps it simple. We've got this wingback running. We chose a wingback because I want somebody to carry the ball as opposed to the fullback. Fullbacks will bring the ball inside, then the wing backs, right? So we went with this role. And then of course we have a insurance policy here, pinging the ball over the top. And then we've got a wing back here. Now for all these roles, I have PIs, right? Okay. These guys all tackling hard. Okay. Here we've got a unique PI for this player. More direct take, more risk. I need him to actually bum up the pitch. Right. When we lose the ball, I want him to tuck inside. If I were to take this tactic and put it into the database where we test tactics out. So we're going to make it available to everybody, where you can actually pop your tactic in and see how your tactic does against an average team, a good team, and an underdog. Now, if I were to take this tactic and drop it in there, it will beat all the underdogs. It will most likely finish in the top 2 among the average leagues, but I don't think it's going to finish in the top 4 for the elite leagues because it needs a different set of instructions for me to use it with a very good team. So in most of my games, I start with this. This is like a very loose middle block. A very good middle block will probably be a standard line. But I went with something a bit more higher because I want these guys to apply the initial pressure and I want these guys all to receive the second ball. Now the goalkeeper is distributing to flanks. I changed this depending on the team. And then we've got counter press, regroup. If you see me play the game, you will notice I changed this a lot, depending on the opposition. If I'm not sure, I start like this. When I want to push and pressure, I do this. I want to dominate the center of the pitch because there might be an issue there. I turn this guy into an inverted wing back. All right, finally here, I will focus play through the middle with an underlap because I want this guy running here instead of running here. I look at traits a lot when I make a tactic. So if he comes deep to get the ball, I probably will play an overlap. Now, originally we started with the roaming playmaker because I honestly prefer the roaming playmaker to the box-to-box midfielder. I wanted to use the roaming playmaker initially. Again, I had an issue because this player didn't perform very well. Now we've got a very solid partnership going on between these two. Look at this. The partnership has blossomed between these two players as well. Now, our problem is this. I can't defend in the box. So whenever I do these kind of saves, right, especially long-term saves, I've got something called like a legacy plan. Now, legacy planning involves things like basically looking at 3 things: your scouting assignments, your budget, and of course, when it comes to these long-term saves, I do a lot of moneyballing. Meaning I go in, I look for value bargains. Here, for our save, we ended up having 2 scouts only. So I've set Italy to ongoing because the scout already has 100% knowledge of Italy. While in Argentina, our scout, Patrick Anderson, when we hired him, he has 0% knowledge of Argentina. We'll check in very soon to see where he sits. It's January. Want to see what percentage he's gotten done. Okay, but in order for me to look for a central defender, I need to know what metrics I want. So I'm looking at 3 metrics, essentially interceptions made, headers won ratio versus key headers. Now, why do I want to compare the two? Now, headers won ratio basically tells us how good the player is in the air, right? How many headers does the defender win versus key headers. Now, what are key headers? Key headers are those headers that are so important, they obviously prevented a goal scoring chance. And of course, shots blocked. Shots blocks are an indication of the player's awareness, a reflection of maybe strong mentals in that regard. My best player is Marco Perrotta. Now, he's had key tackles. He's the best in the league at 0.49. He's also made 71 interceptions, which is kind of cool considering the fact that we only played 20 games. Now, when I look at this, then I look at the rest of the league. When I looked at the rest of the league, I found out that, okay, we got other players in the league that are comparable, right? So I tend to shortlist these players. And after I'm done with that, I have to look at my scouting reports that have come in. Then I add players to the shortlist. And this is the pain in the ass. Going to every league by hand. I mean, I'm checking all these leagues up. Let's look at our assignments first up. Let's look at our scouts. Remember I said that Patrick Anderson was a new scout, right? So he's already gotten us 5 recommendations from South America. That's not too bad. Now, what about his overall scouting knowledge? Remember it was 0 when we first started. It's now 38%. He's going to be left on until finish. I'm not changing it. There will be a notification that comes from him that says, I'm done. And then I will look at the percentage and we'll see what the difference is when we set it to ongoing. I have to do a Moneyball strategy, but I can't just go and sign anyone, can I? So here we got a budget, wage budget, 1.9 versus 1.9. So I do a budget adjustment. So I need to know how much wages I can afford. What's my buffer? So 1.9, if I drag this all the way to the right, I find out my wages, 2.24. That's what I do annually. So my annual wages that I can commit to a player is about 400,000. If we don't have to pay any money for them. This is exactly where I am. So I'm going to continue to slowly scour the world. Okay, we go to Belgium. Belgium Pro. There, Belgium is loaded. So I can go down to Belgium Reserve League 1A. Right? I can go to Belgium First Division. So we go to the Belgian First Division. And then we've got all these teams playing here. Then we go to player detail. Then we look for, again, here I start very simple because I'm looking for a defender. Okay. Then we're a defender. Toon Leonards. Okay. 31 years old. So what? The other thing is we have to sign young players. I'm not going to sign an old fuck. Okay. I sign a young player. So what I'm looking for now is headers won ratio versus key headers. A good combination of the two. Not just headers won ratio, right? I'm looking for headers won and key headers. Because again, right, if you could, what you would do is you would export all this information to something like this. You can use public Tableau. Okay, you can log in and then you can create all your plots here if you want, right? So you can create your own scatter groups and all that. I don't have the time to do all this. I know a lot of guys are doing this, but I don't have the time to do this. It's too much work for me. Norway, I think Norway have got it loaded. Okay, we come to the Norwegian First Division. There we come in. Aha, player detail. Okay, Norway always got top players, right? You can bet on Norway to come in with some top players. Ovien West Olsen, 31. No, 17-year-old, 17 appearances, 9 key headers. That's not too impressive. Maybe for a 17-year-old, he's made 17 appearances for Rufus. Guess what? Add to shortlist, asking a agent about availability. Yeah, make sure, but make it clear he doesn't have any interest in the move. Shit. Okay. I just immediately was gonna see if I can get this boy. He's damn impressive, man, for 17-year-old. Jonas Friedrichsen. And then after that, there's no other target that's worth looking at. Yeah, I mean, of course, we can pick the older players, but I don't want to pick older players. I want youngsters. I can see them develop. 18, 12, 22, 81%. Arna Gudjonsson, 15, not too bad. Can definitely play for us. I would sign him in a heartbeat, man. Yeah, so now what does our shortlist look like? So this is our shortlist, right? Notice this, right? Edit search, jumping reach. Now I can add something else here. Add condition. Let's go to general and then we got height. I want a player that's at least, say, 1.9. Now it's part 2. Part 2 of the big ass job. A really good Moneyball save. You need your leagues to be playable. There's no point doing a league with four leagues that are playable and calling it Moneyball. Because if you want to do a proper Moneyball save, talking a lot of leagues, man. This guy, 23-year-old Italian, he can actually play. Straight away for a 16, anticipation got poor technique. Giuseppe Como came from our scouts. Right? Sign him whatever the price. Now, if I look at him some more, scout report, right? He's actually better than the current player that I have in terms of potential. So there's still potential for him to grow. It's a decent Serie A player. Estimated wage is going to be a ball breaker. 322. So if I bring him in, he will want to be the most important player. As a competitive streak, means that he's going to occasionally doesn't enjoy big matches. If I sign the player, he can't afford to give me yellow cards all the time. So this guy's out. When I'm a relegation threatened team, I'm very aggressive. I don't sit back and like play a 4-5-1. I'll play like a 4-2-4 DM. At least a 4-4-2 DM, right? They got 2 strikers. You see, when you're an underdog, always play 2 strikers. You have a much better chance because on the break, at least you got 2 strikers, right? Most teams that are attacking you right now, they're gonna attack you and leave 2 defenders behind and maybe a DM. But if you've got 2 strikers attacking them, then you always have a breakaway chance with 2 players. But when you play a 4-5-1 on a breakaway, you have to expect those 2 wingers to be very high up the pitch. And then you got 3 fellas in center of midfield, right? But you don't have a DM, so they don't draw back. So you still have a gap that they can exploit. So you're basically neither here nor there. Turis Calcio, this team is a problem. The last game we finished 3-3. So we have to we're not going to play safe this game. We have to get a win. This is one team that can cause us problems. I'm going to definitely go counter pressing. And we're going to take the game to them. My definition of taking the game to them. Plus, I forgot one other instruction, idiot. Low crosses. This is a serious game. Oh man, if it's important game, why didn't you do this? 3-1 down the last time. Fought back 3-all. Good. Okay, good. So we need a defender. But sometimes they play back to our back line. It's not too bad. Okay, Soma. Go. Oh, Brunori. What an equalizer. Boom, shakalaka. What a goal. Check this goal out, man. Felici, Soma, and boom, straight to him. What a goal. We're back. 1-1. Masolo finally listens to his boss's instructions. Nice. Oh, Silipo. Silipo turns the player. Shoots. Ay, 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 ay. Come on. Okay, encourage the team. Playing well. Got good numbers on the board. We're controlling the game in their half. Okay, so now we come in. Okay, we're going to leave it to mixed crosses now. We don't want to go to the byline. Don't want to waste too much time. Oh, you make one change, straight away the highlight is them attacking you. This is where we consider a lot of goals against them. Crosses in there. We did not deal with the initial ball into the box. Yeah. This is a tough game. Uh-oh. Yeah. Stop having a good game. Okay, we're going to take him off. Lancini comes off for Giroud. Marconi. Valente, yeah. Hey, Valente, come on. Bang! 2-2. We had an epic game the first time around. It's turning into an epic game again. Valente, what a substitution, man. Yeah, Brunori, the poacher, finishing it again. I typically would say it depends on your tactic. You have to look at your tactic, regroup. Well, we didn't get enough out of this, man. I'm not that happy. Oh, both of us level. Evelino also drop points. Okay, now we go back to our scouting shortlist, right? Go back to this guy. Transfer, make an offer. Fee 0. Suggest terms. Okay, we got this guy who might come. He's 70, but he's going to get a lot of money for this to make the transfer. Let's go. Italian Serie A C Cup. All the money in the world, man. Let's go for this. Next game. Come, Massolo. Kick long. Kick for... It'll be the first penalty shooter I'm involved in if this happens. Oh, yes. It's the first penalty shooter. Okay, I am just going to... What? Luperini and Valente. You have to pick composure and penalties. Okay? Anxious, calm ahead of penalty shootout. Perota. Okay, displaying little emotion. Are you there? Okay, Floriano first. Damiani second. Valente the first guy. Okay. These three I'm not going to touch them. 10-foot pole first. I never done this. Normally I just go auto. Can't be oh no. Corona, you're a youngster. I don't want to destroy your career, man. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. Let's go, man. D'Amico steps up. He's our great shot stopper, Masolo. What can you do? D'Amico. Masolo saves the day. First one. Valente. Come on. Did I pick correctly? Valente shoots. Cool, calm, composed. He was confident, so we asked him to go up first. Malakari now steps out. Masolo's already saved 1. Oh, Masolo went the right way. Malakari. Now Floriano. He didn't look so anxious, but he's stepping up. It's 2. The first 2 takers, we got it right. Now it's Fantasy. Fantasy wants to score against Masolo. He's already saved 1, but Fantasy has scored. Okay, so now we got Perota. Now this was a long shot, no, for Perota. His penalty, composed, calm. He was not anxious. He was like, he had no emotions. He said, I looked at him. He had looked at his eyes. He had no emotions. I said, go take the penalty. Spaluto now with Masalo. Masalo looking confident. He saved the second one. Look at that Masalo. What a confident lad. Now here again, Damiani. Again, when I looked at the players, he was another one that was like, he wasn't interested. So we'll get him to take a penalty. Does he do one? Does he put it? Aye, he scores. We go through. The keeper fumbled that. We have gone through. It's our first penalty shootout. It was a perfect penalty shootout from our boys. Marcelo had a fantastic performance, man. We're through, man, to the finals. 3 to 4 days, that's not too bad. Palermo to receive some money, 12.8. We are playing football club. Okay, that's it. Okay, it may not be much of a trophy, but still a trophy. I've never won this trophy in my life. The Serie A C Cup final. But we are going to the Serie A C Cup final. All right, guys. Now, my kids are home, and one of them has been screaming like crazy. And I have to go deal with them. We spent a big chunk of the stream scouting players or analyzing players, and I shared with you what I try to do. Now, of course, everybody has a different way of doing Moneyball strategies. I have mine. I try to simplify it. The best way, of course, is to extract all the information into a proper platform that you can go do scatter groups in on your own. But of course, I don't have the time to do that. So I'm hoping that I gave you some insight into this, and I'm hoping you enjoyed it. If you have any more questions, you guys know where to find me. Once again, I want to thank you guys for your fantastic support. I want to thank all the patrons who joined in as well. So don't forget, on Wednesday, we are doing Bring Your Tactics. I hope to see you there. Meanwhile, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and continue loving each other. Bye-bye. My name is Daljit. Welcome to the show.